Right, so this is the second video on naming ionic compounds. And the difference here is we're going to move on from naming them just with metals and non-metals, and we're going to start naming them using things called group ions or polyatomic ions or oxoanions. And there's a list of these that you need to know that I'm going to share here. So these are the different group or polyatomic ions. The oxoanions, these ones down here that will have oxygen attached. You're going to need to memorize these. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you what the formulae for each of these are. And these are going to always be the same. And when we do our video on writing formulae, these are going to be really useful. So hydroxide is OH minus, nitrate is going to be NO with a little 3 and then a single minus charge. Carbonate is going to be CO3 with a 2 minus charge. My sulfate is going to be SO4 again with a 2 minus charge. And then finally the phosphate will be PO4 with a 3 minus charge. And then there's one odd one, which is the ammonium one over here. This is a positively charged one, so this is a group ion, but it's a cation, positive one. And ammonium is going to be NH4, but then it's got a positive charge, not a negative charge. Now, when we use these for naming compounds, actually we use the same process that we used before. So we're just going to use the name of the positive ion, so it's not always going to be a metal now. So we're going to go positive ion, and we're going to combine it just with the name of the negative ion. And if it's the same, if it's just a metal, then we just use the positive ion, the name of the metal. However, if it is ammonium, so if it is this one up here, then actually we'll just call it ammonium something. And we're going to still use the same IDE rule for elements. So this is for non-metal elements. I don't know if I'll fit this in. There we go. Non-metal elements. But if it's one of these ones, if it's one of our group ions, this group here, we don't use the IDE rule. We're just going to use the name as it is. So if we want to have an example, I might have something like lithium, which is a metal, so it stays the same. And then if I chose one of these, maybe sulfate. And I do not use the IDE because it's a group ion. Another example is this time I'm going to use our positive group ion, so I'm going to call this one ammonium. And then let's go for as a negative ion, let's select just a non-metal, so we'll call this one ammonium chloride. And because it's chloride, it'll be chlor, and because it's an element, IDE. Finally, you might have one that's made up of both, so it might be ammonium, and then one of the group ones, let's go for carbonate. So ammonium carbonate. And we just put the two names together like that, and that's all it is. So that is our naming of ionic compounds, I think, done. And the next step will be to look at how we write the formulae, how we write down the symbols and the numbers that represent these.